the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at two. Just sweet.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, welcome to the Curtain Call podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're on Spotify, we appreciate you listening. If you're watching on YouTube, please consider subscribing, liking the video. It really, really helps us out a lot. I'm joined as always by JR. JR, what's going on, man? Too sweet me.
What's going on? What's going on? This one's going to be kind of interesting. A lot of people have been asking this question, and I thought it might be a really good idea to get the topic rolling here. And it's something real simple. And it's kind of hard to discussion, though, even though it's a simple question, which is those guys that we were always clamoring for, that we wanted them to get that main event push. And then they decided to go to AEW, or people said they should leave WWE to AEW. They made the jump. Are they being used in that card that we wanted them to, or are they doing the same thing that they were doing in the WWE, and that's floating around the mid card and not really doing anything at all? So that's what we're talking about, man. Let's get to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. And I don't know if you have it scheduled out to where you want to list certain people, but I got to just jump with the first one that I thought of immediately when I thought of this episode was Miro, Rusev, whatever you want to call them. I think I'm going to go first on this one because I think that this man, I don't know, lately it's been but overall, this man's been doing great work. Great work. Like the whole like where he's like talking to God or whatever, and God's telling him that he's this and that. And I think that's all great personally. And I think his wrestling has been a lot better. He's always been great in the ring. I think he's always been solid in the ring. His just ring work's a lot better. He's gotten better at a promo, I think, as well. And yeah, just the character work he's doing is just awesome. And I'm glad he was able to get a title, early on. But yeah, I think Miro's definitely gotten to the ceiling that people thought he could in WWE. When WWE didn't pull the trigger on the Rusev Day thing, I don't know, man. They never really went full all in on Rusev Day. I think Miro is just doing outstanding right now.
So let me ask you a question. So when Rusev came up in Miro, but we're going to use him in WWE sense for this question. When Rusev came up from NXT, that he made his main roster debut, he didn't talk because he supposedly had that strong Russian accent or whatever. Lana spoke for him, which was great. He had a really nice push. If you remember there, he was beating everybody, and then that Russian flag will come down.
Yeah.
Was getting all kind of heat. Ended up becoming United States champion, had a really big push, was up there. Do you see the same trajectory that he's in when he's in AEW? The same thing, except he has no mouthpiece, he's speaking. So obviously that stands out more. But really the only thing he's done has been capture the TNT title,
right.
While everybody's been saying, oh, he's world champion material, and he's not sniffing that championship belt. So do you think that it's good work because he's just got there and he's finding his stride? Or how long do you think it'll be before we see him in that main picture? Or is he just going to stay a mid-carder?
Okay, I'm gonna answer your question with a question, okay? Do you think that is because of him that he's not been in the main title picture? Or do you think it's because AEW's kind of flooded the main picture with, you got obviously the last few months was Hangman Page and Kenny, but then they've also brought in massive stars like Bryan Danielson, CM Punk. You have I don't even know who else I'm trying to think of off the top of my head, but do you think that it's because he hasn't gotten to the world title picture because of him, because of what he's doing, or it's because that the top guy spot's pretty flooded right now?
It's because of that. There's too many top guys.
Right.
I think that when he first got there really wasn't a lot, in a sense where he could have taken that main title picture. There's too many guys. It's been our argument for a long time now. It's too many guys. And I'm not a fan of a whole bunch of title belts. I'm not.
Yeah, me neither.
But in this sense, I think they need more titles. Unfortunately, they need to make a 6-man championship or make another secondary title besides the TNT title or the TBS title, because there's too many guys. And Miro is that guy where he was up here. And from when we went back to the live crowd, it's been kind of climbing down. And every time somebody else new comes in, it gets less and less time. There's been a couple times he's been even left off a show because too many guys are trying to get on a 2-hour show. And Rampage is not doing well and crazy good in the ratings. It's only an hour show. So, yeah, man. I mean,
do you think adding another hour to Rampage could make space for another title?
Yeah, I think so. But the other thing, and I guess it'll be a topic for another day, is I love what AEW does as far as their matches.
Right.
But when you have basically just one show a week at 2 hours, with the commercials, you're looking at about an hour and a half. And then you have a show, Rampage, 10 o'clock on Fridays, but doesn't get a huge rating, but it's only 1 hour. And then you have guys wrestling for 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah. I mean, that's tough, man.
Yeah.
That's tough to get over.
Yeah, so just so you know, we are recording this the Friday after the 1 hour match with Bryan Danielson. I don't know. Yeah, because people are praising that 1 hour match, man. And obviously I love a time limit draw. I like when they do that, but it was risky, man, to put that on TV. Yeah.
And here's the thing. So they started off the show with it. Mm-hmm. And of course it was a great match. I mean, it's a very good match. I'm not going to say it's not. But did the rest of the show keep up with it?
No. If anything, they should have put it on the second hour.
Yeah. So I don't know, but like, hey, that's a topic that we can definitely always get into, and that'll lead us down that rabbit hole. But so we already talked about Rusev, we already talked about Miro. So we're not going to sit here and name the Paul Whites, Mark Henry, Dean Malenko, Sanjay Duff, Ricardo Rodriguez, Jim Ross, Taz, Justin Roberts, or Dasha. We're talking about the performers themselves. Obviously, Brody Lee. May he rest in peace. Not gonna speak about that. But the rest of the guys, let's get into this for a second. So the first one that we had come over was Chris Jericho. I think Chris Jericho, he doesn't need the title. He's doing great stuff. I think that he's just as big a star in AEW as he was in WWE. There's no drop off. There was no elevation as far as with him. So I think we kind of scratch him off, right?
I think so. Yeah, there's not much to say about Chris Jericho. Yeah, 100%.
All right. John Moxley. So John Moxley, he was right now he's doing his rehab thing, and we hope for the best for him. But John Moxley is one that when he was in the WWE, he reached the highest of highs, and then he floated around the mid card, had that little goofy gimmick going on for a little bit. Goes over to AEW. We don't see of him a lot, and then all of a sudden he becomes champion. Did great work. After he lost the title, though, he was doing a lot of tag teaming with Eddie Kingston, your boy Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
And then we're not talking about the rehab part, but that being said, has he found his way back to the mid card, and is that where he's going to be at?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a tough one because the way you look at Dean Ambrose in WWE is you're right. He reached the top of the top, and but then that last gimmick really leaves a sour taste in your mouth. It was a bad ending for him in WWE. And then he goes over, and you're right. He kind of had the title on him like nothing. He was kind of just immediately pushed right into the title picture because when he debuted, it was against Jericho, right?
Yep.
And I don't know, man.
He feuded against Kenny right away. Remember he showed up at Double or Nothing and feuded with Kenny right away. Then he ended up getting the title.
Yeah.
So and if you think about it, the next guy on that list was supposed to be Adam Hangman Page.
Right.
A WWE guy comes in, took that spot. He dropped.
Yeah.
So is he in the mid-card system? I mean, is he going to founder there?
The problem is he obviously when he returns from rehab, it's going to be a huge pop. People are going to love it. It's going to be a great comeback, great return. But it honestly goes back to the same thing we just talked about with Miro and stuff. Is the main title picture too flooded right now? Because yes, he could come back and it could be an awesome return. Great, everyone's going to love to see him. He's hopefully going to be healthy, happy, whatever. But yeah, he's coming back to a roster at the top of Kenny, Hangman, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson. Like, where does that even? I mean, that's a lot, man. That's a lot. So obviously, when he first showed up, you can only compare it to the last gimmick and he had WWE. So when he first came back, it was great. Like him as Moxley has always been awesome. He has a lot of freedom to do what he wants. You can tell he enjoys it more. You can easily tell that. But yeah, I don't know, man. He might, the way it's shaping up, the way things are kind of, if you can kind of see long-term AEW, you can kind of see where they're going to go. I don't know, man. It might just be too flooded. He might just immediately go back down to the middle card, maybe go up against like an Eddie Kingston or something again. I don't know. Who knows, man? He's going to get lost in the shuffle with all these, 4 or 5 top guys right now?
Yep. So the next one, Christian Cage. So obviously this is a weird one because he wasn't in WWE due to concussions and injuries. He shows up at the Rumble, has a fantastic moment with Edge there. WWE doesn't do anything else with him as far as at that time. He goes over to AEW. And what happens when he gets to AEW? WWE guy comes in.
Yeah.
He gets put at the top and becomes your Impact champion right away. Yeah. Drops the title to an Impact guy. We all knew that that's what the plan was. That way Kenny didn't take the pin against an Impact guy. And then that's it. We're not expecting much from him. That is true. We want to get that out the way. We don't want people to be like, hey, but you're picking a guy that's already past his prime. Well, we're not talking about Sting neither. Where Sting is just coming out with Darby Allin but we're so is he staying there with the what is it, Jurassic Express that he's been hanging out with a lot? You see them doing anything else with him?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. He debuted and immediately that Impact title, that match was great. That win was a good moment. Crowd popped, loved it. And then that was basically it. That was the last thing. We didn't see him
for a while.
Yeah, but I will say this, though. The time he's been with Jurassic Express, wasn't that one of the most fun matches of the last pay-per-view?
It was.
It was. And we both said in our review that Christian Cage did his thing. He held his own. He had a good match, a good spotlight in that match. So he's still consistently putting on good matches and giving us some kind of entertainment no matter where he is on the card. But I think he doesn't move more than the mid card at best at this point.
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes. I don't even know where to begin with Cody Rhodes.
People boo him. People. It's weird with Cody Rhodes because Cody Rhodes made a statement that he's not into the whole babyface and heels thing. And I believe that when you look at the Bible of wrestling, it's built off the character and the antagonizer. There's always a bad guy.
Right.
It's like that in the good book, in the Bible. There was Cain, there was Abel. So you need good guys and bad guys. He doesn't come out the good guy tunnel. He doesn't come out the bad guy tunnel. He comes up the middle. And people have been booing him. He's been putting his body through hell. And people still boo him.
Let's just say this. He needs to turn heel. Let's just say it.
He does. So, but because he's one of the main guys there as far as behind the scenes, does he put himself to the point where he holds the title or not? Because if that's the case, that he doesn't want to do that, doesn't want to be labeled as that guy, then the most that we'll ever see out of him would be the TNT Championship again. So is that it for him?
Yeah, I don't know. I do think a heel turn is step one. I think that's where you need to start. At least just get the heel turn out of the way. Start there. But yeah, man, I don't know. There's no spot for him on the top of the card. We keep going back to that, but it's the truth. There's no spot for him right now. So you turn him heel, and then maybe you have him go after the TNT title, and maybe in a heel way cost whoever has it now, cost them the loss, someone else gets it. I don't know, man. It's tough to book that one.
Because so let's go on to the next one. Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
Matt Hardy came in. There was no fans in attendance when he came in. It was a big, humongous pop and everything as far as us at home watching it. He was doing his Delete character. That's what people wanted to see. And then they gave Matt Hardy a bunch of freedom, man, where he's doing so many different characters. I don't know which Matt Hardy I'm going to get week to week. I'll leave it to you. What do you do? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, with Matt Hardy, the delete thing when he came to AEW was cool, right? But was it too little, too late? Because it felt that way. It definitely felt that way when he was doing it in Ring of Honor / wherever he was showing up. When him and Jeff were just showing up places, that was like mind blowing. Like you never knew where they were going to be. Sometimes they showed up at random house shows on small promotions. Sometimes they show up in Ring of Honor. It was crazy what they were doing. I think it was too little, too late for the delete thing to show up in AEW. It was fine when it first showed up because it got that initial pop, but then after that, it kind of sunk after that. But now, I don't know. Okay, hear me out on this one, because Matt Hardy came out on Twitch and said his brother's fine. His brother's happy. He's healthy. It's not what we think. Now, is that just him coming to the defense of his brother or telling the truth? Who knows? Who knows? Could be either one. Would bringing in Jeff help Matt a lot?
There you go. The next time they get a big push is when they become the AEW Tag Team Champions. Because as far as right now, nobody cares about the delete thing.
Right.
When Jeff shows up and they do the delete, that's when it's going to revive, like when they were doing it in Ring of Honor, when they were doing it at these house shows, when they were doing it in Impact Wrestling. I think that's the next time that we see Matt Hardy skyrocket with his brother, because people now want to see the Hardy Boys together doing it. Yes.
Yes.
But after that, what do you do? The nostalgia wears down after a while.
Right.
And I think that that's what's happening with them. I know that they can benefit, they can help a lot of the younger talent out by putting the other talent over, because at the end of the day, they're still the freaking Hardy Boys, and that carries weight. But I don't see them doing anything else more than that. As a matter of fact, I probably, if I'm going to be honest, if they were to eventually go their separate ways, I see Jeff having a higher, more meaningful matches in AEW than Matt by himself, but that's my opinion.
Do you think, say they come together, they do Brother Nero, Broken Matt, that whole thing. If that goes on, maybe they get the titles, who knows? When they split, do you see Jeff doing a Willow-style character in AEW?
Absolutely. Okay. Because it's something that's not being done anything like that right now. Right. I can see him doing that. I can see it getting over very well. I can see that Willow character feuding with someone like a Darby Allin.
Yeah.
It's good because they both had that dark character and black and white. I think,
What about Jeff as Willow against Sting, and he kind of gets his redemption from that incident in Impact? They can have their rematch, and he'll be healthy. He can kind of redeem himself for that last match.
I think the story writes itself. Jordan, that's a really good idea, man. I'm glad you thought of it, because it wouldn't have crossed my mind right away. That'll be what a nice way to revisit that.
Yeah.
That'll really be it. They can play with that storyline a lot.
Yeah.
The next one. So we're not going to talk about Goldust because we won't. He's right now, he helps out enhancement talent, trying to get them over and stuff like that. We won't get into that. Pop, Neville.
Yeah,
I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't see no difference.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you on that. Heel Neville and Pac it's like looking in a mirror just about, because it's not that much different. Now, obviously, heel Neville Pac, whatever you want to call him, is a lot better than face. What was it? Bright purple trunks, whatever it was. him as a heel is 10 times better than him as a face. 10 times better.
Button up shirts and stuff like that, and looked like his neck was about to pop. It's a lot better than that. But I really don't. When he turned heel Neville in WWE, it's the same thing as what we're seeing now. The only difference is when he speaks, he's not afraid to use some swear words here and there. Yeah. But I don't see a difference, Jordan. Yeah,
I think we can go past Pog. Let's just say it's basically the same thing. He just has a little more freedom on the mic.
Yeah. FTR.
Yeah. That's a tough one, man, because I was a massive fan of them as a Revival. Everybody knows that. I say it all the time. Yeah, man, they were I mean, let's just be real. Their feud with the New Day was just remarkable. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. They put on great matches.
How many times did they hold WWE go?
I don't know. How many times?
If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 3 times. They held WWE.
And then they were what? 2-time NXT champs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were out of all the tag teams in the WWE, they were up there. The feuds with the New Day, the feuds with the Usos, they were up there. They amazing. They come over to AEW. It took them a while. They get to go. Then they lose it. Now they have the AAA. But once again, it's
the same. It really is the same. It's about the same. I mean, it's not that that's a bad thing necessarily, because they're always going to do good work. You know, they're going to put on great classic matches, but it's ideally the same. They've gone through the tag division. They've gotten the titles. There's not much else really to do with them.
So you give them a consolation prize and give them the AAA titles.
I guess. Yeah. But there's
Shawn Spears.
Yeah. The chairman. I don't know, man. This is a real tough one because he was insanely over as the perfect 10. Insanely over.
Yes.
He had that great moment where he came out at the Royal Rumble at spot number 10. People were going nuts. Yeah. And then Vince, I don't know what Vince thought. Maybe Vince thought he was just a theme song like he did with Bobby Roode. Maybe he thought he was just kind of the 10 thing. And then he shows up in AEW and hits a unprotected chair shot on Cody Rhodes, which was just shocked everybody.
That was it.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm going to throw it to you. I don't really want to touch this one because it's hard, because I was a massive fan of Ty Dillinger. Massive fan. I went to all the NXT house shows with the 10 shirt on. I was throwing it up when he came out. I was a massive fan of his. I like what he's doing now, but it's different.
I was a massive Ty Dillinger fan. I used to love when he would do his move and then the guys on the ground and he would. I thought it was crazy over. He does that chair shot. I think it actually hurt him in a sense where, not Cody, obviously Cody, but it hurts Ty. Yeah. It hurts Shawn Spears in a way where there was so much backlash from it that they almost had to take him away for a while.
Yeah.
That way it could come to him. But he hasn't really done anything. And you know, if anything, he to me, he had more success in NXT than he has in AEW. Right. So that's about it, brother.
Yeah, he's not. It's. I say if we're gonna call any of them not worse, but not as good, I think it's this one.
Yeah. The next one, Jake Hager, Jack Swagger. Talk to me. What you got?
Yeah, he wasn't doing anything in WWE. Let's just keep that real. He wasn't doing much of anything. The We the People thing was over at one point. But when he left, he wasn't really doing anything. And I think the Inner Circle, that whole thing was a breath of fresh air for him. I'm kind of over the Inner Circle like lately, but like when it was first starting, it was cool, a cool thing that they had going on. I think he's benefited from going to AEW. He wasn't doing a whole lot besides after the We the People thing. It kind of died out, and he didn't really have a lot of steam behind him or anything. But overall, I like him. He hasn't done a whole lot besides Inner Circle stuff, so it's kind of hard to talk about him in AEW. But I'm liking what he's doing. It's all right.
Yeah, I think his mindset is more on MMA, which is cool.
Right.
And he does the wrestling on the side. I'm fine with that. He's had good success so far in mixed martial arts, and I think that I think he's one of the wrestlers that he doesn't want to do anything solo. He doesn't want that. Not that he can't handle the responsibilities. He doesn't want that responsibility right now because his mindset is on MMA. He wants to be able to leave for a few months for training, do something, and then come back with the pinnacle. So, the inner circle. So I'm cool with it, man. I mean, I don't see anything wrong there. No. All right, we're getting down. We're gonna get down to some nitty gritties real quick. Lio Rush.
I mean, I don't know with Lio Rush. Lio Rush has always put on phenomenal matches. Always. That's not even up for discussion. He's always been a phenomenal wrestler, no matter who you really pair him up with. But I don't know, man. I'm going to plead the fifth on this one, let you tell about this one, because there's not much I want to say or go into without either bashing him or making it sound underappealing.
So then let's do this. You ready?
Yeah.
Matt Sydal.
All right. Matt Sydal, man, as Evan Bourne was awesome. Arguably, he was part of one of the greatest RKOs we've ever seen. Always the same thing. Always a phenomenal wrestler, good shape, was doing crazy spots and stuff like that. I'm going to be real. I like him more in AEW. I like Matt Sydal more than Evan Bourne. I don't know why. He's in better shape, I think. He's older, but he's in better shape. I like Matt Sydal more than I liked Evan Bourne.
I think the only issue that I have with it is that he's too much on Dark and not so much on Dynamite. And when he does come on Dynamite, he's taking the pin.
That's true. And his booking hasn't been great.
I'm all about that you don't have to go over to get over. But in his case, he needs to go over sometimes because he's not getting over. But, all right, you ready?
Yeah.
Andrade.
Man, this is a rough one because Andrade in NXT was killing it. Like, killing it. Main roster Andrade. Not so much. Great matches, once again. Phenomenal wrestler. Great in the ring. I don't know. It's one of those things where he was one of those NXT call-ups that kind of fell through a little bit. He had some good stuff. Don't get me wrong. Had some good stuff. Not everything was bad. But, yeah. But then AEW's kind of fallen flat a little bit too. I don't know. To me, if I was booking Andrade, I would have left him in NXT. But hey, that's just me. That's all I got to say. AEW is not that. He's not doing that much different stuff. If it was up to me, I never would have called him up in the first place yet, at least.
Yeah, I think he'll be better off if he was to spend more time in AAA or WWC in Puerto Rico, AAA in Mexico. I think that he has more star power in those places than right now.
Answer me this. So I knew about Andrade when he was masked and all that. Was he as great or as over being that before he came to NXT? Because I watched some stuff when he was masked, but not a whole lot. Do you know any more about him than I might?
Yeah, so when Andrade was masked, he was teaming a lot with his uncle, teaming a lot with family members. Super babyface, super over babyface. Towards the end of his run, when he was getting signed with the WWE, he decided to lose the mask. He lost the mask. They took the mask. He was a great wrestler. He was at best mid-card, at best. NXT really made him a superstar.
Oh, yeah.
Really made him more over in NXT than anything else. I think with that recognition and that name that he has coming out of WWE, he can really be a top guy in Mexico because Mexico really needs a top heel champion.
Yeah.
Or even in Puerto Rico, be good feuds for him or any of the Spanish places to wrestle. But that's where I believe that he should focus more on. I'm not saying that this is the way it should be, but I mean, if it was me, that's how I would look at it. Because I really like to see him wrestle, but it looks like lately he's taking a lot of L's. And I don't know, it just ain't working out for me. All right, so we're not going to talk about Billy Gunn. We're not going to talk about Trent Beretta or Tony Nese, but we are going to talk about Malachi Black.
Yeah, man. This one might be the hardest one because Alistair Black, when he first debuted in NXT, was something just phenomenal. I mean, because he came in as Tommy End from the UK. Because I think when he first showed up was in one of the NXT UK pay-per-views or shows or whatever.
The first one.
As Tommy End, when it got a huge pop. I mean, I knew about Tommy End before that. Not a whole lot, but I knew about him. Comes in as Alistair Black. I mean, just rises up from the coffin or whatever that's supposed to be, rises up, super dark in the ring. You kind of have like a silhouette type going on. Just unreal. Gets called up. Not the worst call up, not the best call up. He had an okay call up, had some good stuff on the main roster. Goes to AEW as Malachi Black and is basically doing the early NXT, what he was doing, very dark, sinister. This is more got the, he's got the kind of headpiece and he's got the more silhouette shot of his entrance. So it's a little darker. I would say it's a little darker. But it's basically what he was doing in NXT before they kind of brought him to the main roster and watered him down a little bit as far as character goes. I think it's great. I think it's awesome, him in AEW. But to me, it's just what he was doing in NXT, maybe just darkened up a little bit. It's a little more grim and stuff like that. But I'm loving what he's doing.
So I feel the same way. I think it's the same thing that we're seeing from NXT to AEW, not the main roster. Alistair Black. I think that it's just a little bit edgier.
Yeah.
With the whole eye thing from the Rey Mysterio and losing of the eye or whatever, and him as well. I think he's still playing that storyline, which is, to me, that's great. Still has the contact in. I think he's doing, like you said, the same thing that he was doing in NXT, just edgier. Yeah. My fear is that it looks like it could be Brody King that comes in there with him.
Yeah.
If that's the case, that means they'll be tag team.
Like in PWG.
And if that's,
Like they're PWG tag champs. So they have the chemistry.
Yeah. So that means there'll be another tag team in AEW.
Yeah.
And more wrestlers that get lost in the shuffle.
Hear me out on this. Do you think this might happen? So Brody King, which if you look back at our very first episode, I called Brody King signing at some point. I called that.
Yeah.
So do you think that this is Brody King comes in, you kind of have Alistair be like the leader. Do you think they do a tag team, or do you think he's more of like a dark mentor and Brody King gets some singles matches and then maybe they do a tag team later down the run? Do you think it's more of like a leader and like a cult follower type thing where Brody King's going to be kind of getting a singles push while Alistair's kind of the dark, mysterious leader behind it all and he's kind of working behind it? Do you think they do the tag team, or do you think they kind of do something like that?
All right, so I'm gonna answer your question just like you did me earlier. I'm gonna answer your question with a question. So, do you think that he'll create a stable? The way he talks.
Where's Wyndham? Okay,
so because that's where I'm leaning towards more. I think that they'll do tag, because it's just the two of them right now.
Right.
But I do think it's leading to a stable. And if that's the case, how many would that be in AEW?
Too many.
But he's doing good work. He's doing good work.
Yeah. But right, man, before we move on though, last second, just 10 seconds. How awesome would a stable with Alistair, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Wyndham all in some scary horror? That could be awesome.
You know how I feel about Bray Wyatt.
Right.
And anywhere he goes, if he's doing remotely anything similar to what he was doing in WWE, everybody's going to point at WWE.
Right.
And as much as I hate to say this, if Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, if he comes to AEW, if he happens to come to AEW, all signs are pointing that he's pretty much done for a while with wrestling.
Yeah.
So if he does come, he can't come with anything that he did in the WWE.
Right.
And what that's going to do is that's going to really upset a lot of fans because the whole speaking the way he did, like if he was from Louisiana and that swagger, people are wanting that. But people are wanting Bray Wyatt. They're wanting the Fiend.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's what AEW is going to get.
And I've said since day one, I was a massive fan of the Fiend gimmick, but the one thing it was lacking was Bray Wyatt's strongest suit on the mic. That man needs to talk. That man needs to talk week in and week out, whatever it is. He can't have another gimmick where he doesn't talk because it's such wasted talent. He could, if I don't know if he's done with wrestling for a while or not, but if he goes on another long streak, he's going to be in my top 5 talkers of all time. I've been saying that for a long time. Go watch some of his old NXT promos when in the rocking chair. I mean, I was always mesmerized by that guy whenever he was on my TV. Him on the mic is just phenomenal. Just phenomenal.
Listen, a long time ago, I was watching a video that they were showing Dusty Rhodes, and he was talking about the promo class. And he was giving criticism and the good and the bad about all the wrestlers. And somebody that was off camera says, what about Wyndham? What about Bray? And he said, there is nothing that I need to teach that man.
Nothing.
It's in his blood. And that's coming from probably one of the greatest talkers in the business. Yeah. So there you go with that. All right, you ready? Bobby Fish.
Bobby Fish is going, I hate to say this, but I'm just keep it 100. You know I speak my mind, especially about Bret Hart. I'm going to keep this 100. Bobby Fish is going to fall flat until his best friend, his buddy, Kyle O'Reilly shows up. It's just the way it is. They were born to tag together.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? Kyle O'Reilly, we all know he's going to show up.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise. The surprise is when he's going to show up. Or it could be as soon as the next pay-per-view. As soon as he shows up and teams up with Bobby Fish again, I'm calling it now. They will be your AEW Tag Team Champions, which tells me that at some point really, really soon, we are going to have Adam Cole as your AEW Tag Team Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
Which tells me that the Super Elite, they are going to hold all the gold. Some way or another, they're going to hold all the gold. And I think it'll set up at that time, the Omega and Adam Cole storyline, baby, to fulfill itself. I think that'll be when Omega probably turns babyface. But yeah, I think Bobby Fish right now is just showing himself on TV. That's all you got to do. Keep doing. Keep showing yourself on TV. Yep. If you want to put him in a fight, put him in a fight. Let Bobby lose. Let Bobby lose. And then let him know, you know what? This is the last time I'm going to lose. And when we see him again, it's because he has Kyle O'Reilly with him. You're absolutely right.
Hey, right here, Curtain Call Podcast 2022, Undisputed Era will be dripped in gold once again.
Yes, sir. The prophecy will fulfill itself. Are you ready for this one?
Yep.
All right. Adam Cole.
Baby. All right. Let's be real. Let's just be real. Adam Cole is going to succeed no matter where he goes.
I'm sorry. My wife is off camera, and my wife's not a massive wrestling fan, okay? That's why our relationship is gone as long as it has, where we have 4 kids and 4 grandchildren. She's not a massive wrestling fan, though, but as soon as I said Adam Cole, she said, bang, bang. So it lets you know how over Adam Cole is when a person that doesn't watch a lot of wrestling knows that you must respect that man. When you say Adam Cole, you say, baby.
Baby.
Go ahead,
1,000%. 1,000%. Your wife gets a too sweet from me for the day. Let's be real. Adam Cole's going to succeed no matter where he goes because he's Adam flippin' Cole, all right? The fact that Bruce Pritchard wanted to turn him into a manager and a mouthpiece turns my stomach. It makes me not sleep at night because everybody that's ever even seen Adam Cole for one match knows this dude is just oozing just star power. I mean, he's just like we said, I think we did it in our last pay-per-view, AEW pay-per-view show. he is just as hot as he was before he signed with WWE. He lost no rise. He's still on the roller coaster, and that's not topping off anytime soon. That he is just to me, you have people at the top like Kenny and Bryan Danielson and Punk and all them, but Adam Cole is on another starship by himself somewhere because he could be anywhere in the card, and you're watching Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah, let me tell you something, Jordan. I'm gonna say this right now, and I don't know how people are gonna take this. You cannot name me a bigger star in AEW than Adam Cole, baby. And to those people that say, "Oh, he's nowhere near being used like they did in WWE or NXT and all that." Do you hear the crowd every time he comes out?
Yeah.
Do you see the smile on that guy's face? I haven't seen that smile from him since he was with the Undisputed Era. When the Undisputed Era deformed and they all broke up and he started feuding, that's when I kind of knew, okay, this guy is about to leave because he wasn't there. The same thing with Kyle O'Reilly when he was in that last tag team. He wasn't really. Just look at the face. The face tells you everything. Like Vince McMahon says, this is your business. This is right here is going to get you over. And he just wasn't having fun. He is having a blast. He's having a blast, and he is the only guy that I know, whether he's a good guy or whether he's a bad guy, people don't look at him like that. They look at him as the cool guy. That being said, Adam Cole, baby, is going to keep rising and rising and rising. And my God, it's good to see.
Yeah, and I would bet that there's great people in AEW to see. Great people. They got great talent. There are people out there that buy a ticket just to see that man come out and go boom in the crowd. I guarantee there are people that buy tickets just to see Adam Cole.
Absolutely. All right. So these last two that I'm going to name, I'm actually going to name them together. Okay. Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, and CM Punk.
Yeah.
Before you start.
Yeah.
We've seen a trend for the past 45 minutes that we've been speaking to each other. The common thing in this video is you come from the WWE, you get shot. Or if you weren't doing much in WWE, you're going to stay right there.
Right.
We agree that. So now I'm bringing probably the two biggest figures that the WWE has seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Because when I think of Daniel Bryan, when I think of Bryan Danielson, when I think of CM Punk, I think of probably some of the most over guys that were in WWE. Everybody loved Punk. Everybody loved Daniel Bryan. They come over to AEW. The floor is yours.
Yeah, so let's just first start off at the very beginning. So CM Punk returns to wrestling after what, 7 years? Was it 7 years? I mean, I mean, like a lot of people, I watched that live, and it was one of the most spectacular things I've ever seen. It was right. It was in Chicago. The crowd knew it was going to happen, but also didn't 100% know what was going to happen. And I mean, when he came out, you could just see he was almost in tears just walking down. He jumps in the crowd. The place just goes nuts. I mean, it was just an unreal moment for wrestling in general, regardless of AEW. Just for wrestling, it was just a massive moment.
Grown men were crying.
Right, yeah. And then he goes in it with Eddie Kingston or Darby Allin right off the bat. Then Eddie Kingston. Then now MJF. So they're putting him with great guys. Obviously, you guys know, and you know how I feel about Eddie Kingston. He's money right there. Darby, a rising up-and-coming star, they had a good match. And now this stuff with MJF, the promo stuff's great. So they're putting him with all the right people, great, talented people. He keeps winning and winning and winning. And I feel like now, especially, I can't remember where they were, but when he came out and they booed him over MJF.
Long Island.
MJF's
hometown.
Right. Which I get it's a hometown, but let's be real. I think that Long Island crowd was speaking for the rest of us, where this is kind of getting a little, the honeymoon phase is wearing off. That's what I'm going to say.
I think that CM Punk, he has to put MJF over.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
If CM Punk beats MJF, when's he gonna lose?
It does it does nothing for Punk. It does nothing for Punk.
It doesn't because he's Teflon. So I really think he needs to allow MJ as much as, man, you know what? I hate MJF. And it's because he's such a good talker and he's such a good bad guy. But I'm from the old school where you don't like the bad guy and you hate the bad guy. I'm not one of these new guys that say, oh man, this person's such a bad guy. That's why I love him. No, then he's not doing a good job if you love him. MJF, I can't stand him. The guy is a jerk, but that's what makes him great. That's why I say he's the best heel in wrestling. He needs to get over. I don't care if he cheats CM Punk. CM Punk needs to lose this match. Yeah. But then the question becomes, where do they go with CM Punk? Is this someone that you want holding your title? Because like you said, the honeymoon phase is over. The nostalgic feeling is over because you can only hit those cities so many times before Cult of Personality, not everyone's singing the song anymore. And then what? How is CM Punk going to take that? Yeah. How is he going to take that? You know? So that's the question. What do you do with him afterwards? Yeah. I don't know, man. Like I said, and it's not, like I said, we said he's putting on great feuds with people. His stuff with Darby was great. Not just the match, but the build-up. The stuff with Eddie Kingston was great. Now, granted, him and Eddie Kingston had a bizarre history with each other. So I think that worked into it a lot. But he doesn't need the title. But I do feel like after this whole MJF stuff, use him to advance the younger talent that they have. Because if he keeps doing great feuds with people, that's only going to help these other people he's going against. But he's got to start putting some people over at some point. And he might not like that. He might not like that. But you got to do it, man. If he said he wanted to come to AEW to help them, to help build them. He said that the backstage is nothing like he's seen. It's a great work environment, blah, blah, blah. If you truly want to help this place, you got to elevate the young talent. And who better do it than CM Punk? I mean, because everyone talks about Punk. He's obviously a legend and, whatever else or whatever. But, yeah, I don't know. He's got to help advance younger talent if he truly wants to help this place. I agree with you 100%. And with Daniel Bryan, here's another guy comes in, immediately gets a couple title shots. He's had 2 title shots within 2 months or so. He's right away elevated. I don't know how I feel about Daniel Bryan. I'm gonna let you go. I don't know how I feel about it.
I mean, it's okay. Honestly, when he debuted, I didn't think anybody could top Adam Cole's debut showing up. And then Bryan Danielson comes out a minute and a half later, and it was crazy. I mean, it was a great debut because he immediately is such a monster babyface because he's going up against this huge team of heels with the Super Click and Kenny and everybody else that was in the ring. And then obviously he has that 60-minute time draw match. I don't know, man. Okay, here I'll go into it, but do you think he's going to dethrone Hangman?
No.
You don't think so? So the transitional champion Adam Page is not going to be a thing. You don't think?
If you watch the other video, I remember saying that I thought he was going to be a transitional champion. Right. The more I thought about it, I think that would be a horrible idea to make basically a homegrown talent. As far as he's an AEW original, to be a transitional champion to a former WWE guy. Because you know what? Let's put it out there, okay? And let's not pretend that it didn't happen. Was Daniel Bryan big before he got to the WWE? Yeah, he was known. He was known in Ring of Honor and all that. But he was nowhere near known as much as he was when he went to the WWE. Yeah. So when people think of Daniel Bryan, they don't think of the American Dragon. I guarantee you 95% of the people don't think that. They think of Daniel Bryan, the Yes Movement. because that's where he got over. So you're going to have a transitional champion of your homegrown talent that you said, we are working with our guys. We want to build the future. But then you keep going back to the well and grabbing WWE talent to put the titles on them. I think it'll be a bad idea. But it's almost like if Daniel Bryan told them, yes, I'm going to sign with you, but I don't want to lose any matches, any of my first year in matches. If we're going to do a loss, we're going to do a draw. Because it just, one draw, I'm okay with. When it's 2 draws, then I'm scratching my head. So after this feud with Hangman, what's next for him? Because he's going to want to be up there. He's going to want to be up there. But as you know, that space is closed. So what happens, man?
Does he? Okay, if we're doing Bryan Danielson as a heel, does he, after this whole going, depending on how long all this takes, does he confront a returning babyface Moxley? Because Moxley's going to be a babyface when he comes back. There's no doubt about that. The people are going to love to see him. You know, he's finally back from the stories out there that he went to rehab. So it's not like it's some weird story they can make up. He's back. He's healthy. He's coming back from rehab. He figured out, what he needs to. He's going to be a babyface. Like, people are going to cheer him. They're going to sing Wild Thing when he comes back. Does he confront a babyface Moxley? And that way it's still at the top of the card, not necessarily title picture, but Moxley's going to be at the top of the card when he comes back just because of him coming back.
Yeah, I definitely, man, you said that. And in my head, I was thinking, who can he be feuding with? That'll be really good. It's not like they haven't done it before. They've wrestled each other. So I mean, they could definitely do something really good with that. It just, if Bryan Danielson is going to be a heel, he needs to stay a heel for a while.
Yeah,
he needs to stay that way for a while. I do believe that eventually he's probably going to get the title put on him. But I think Moxley, to set up a 3-month, 6-month feud with Moxley, man, that'll be a really good.
Yeah.
Let them fight different styles where it's a traditional match and it got out of hand. So they decided to do a false count anywhere. But that didn't work out until you just throw them in a cage. Do the old school thing where the cage was the end-all be-all. Right. That's where the feud ended. And do that. I think both of them could really put a lot of shine to it. And I dare to say that in that case, that's probably bigger than a main event and for a title shot, depending on who the champion is. Because I don't know about you, and I guess we can kind of go through this later, but I'm not really feeling Hangman Adam Page as your AEW champion. He does nothing for me. When he comes on TV, when he talks, it doesn't do anything for me. And God bless AEW putting the title on him in a sense where he is an AEW original, but it's not moving the needle for me. And I think that's why they're looking at other things to be able to go with him.
Yeah, I say after next Wednesday's episode, why don't we make almost a full episode about Hangman Page and kind of where they're going, how he's been as champ, what we see. And then after this Wednesday's episode, when they kind of further it a little more, we can talk about what we see in the future. But why don't we just make a whole episode about Hangman Page?
Absolutely. I think that'll be a great idea.
Yeah.
So that was our list. So the question is, these guys that left WWE, have they seen the grass greener in AEW? What's your final thought on all of it? What do you think? Do you think that they benefited? Take them all in the hole.
Yeah.
Take them all in the hole, which so far, real quick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, not counting the producers and all that. So far, 23 wrestlers.
Yeah.
Take them all in the hole.
Yeah.
You got to give your percentage 1 to 10.
Wow. Okay. I'm saying I'll just keep it nice and sweet and short. I mean, I'm going to go off of a higher percentage. I think about 50% have benefited, 50% are not benefiting or in the same spot they were before.
So you're at 5 then?
Yeah, 5. Yeah. I think, I don't know. Some stuff has been great. Some stuff has not been great. So I'm about a 5, 50-50, 5. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going right now. Not that it can't improve. Obviously, AEW is still fairly new in the grand scheme of things, but up to this point, there's been some guys that have, some guys that haven't benefited. I'm about dead even. I'm about a 5.
Okay. So I know I'm gonna probably get some flack for this. I'm gonna go less than that. I'm gonna say 30%. Because there's only realistically, there's only 3 guys that stand out on this list that are doing anything for me. Not CM Punk. I'm talking about Bryan Danielson. I'm talking about Adam Cole, and I'm talking about Malachi Black. Because I can see the potential that they're going to go with Malachi Black. Not that he's doing it right now, but for that reason alone, I got to put him on the list. So I say about 30%. If you look at it, there hasn't been really one person that has come over and made a massive impact. I mean, a massive impact. There hasn't been.
Yeah.
And I can't sit here and act like that they have and they're doing great and this is what wrestling's all about. No, because they haven't done that. Can it happen? Absolutely it can happen. But from the looks of it, it's so packed. It's so packed. And that's, Jordan, I don't know about you, man. I'm going to be honest with you. That's a lot of WWE there, man.
Yeah, there is. There is. I know there is. Yeah, 100%. And I don't know what the fix is. I mean, obviously they have the forbidden door that's been open. So does that leave room for WWE guys to go to like a New Japan or an Impact or AAA even or something, that knowing that the door is open for AEW and they can kind of come in and come out when they want? Do you think that more people are going to choose other promotions knowing that they have open partnerships with AEW? Because the AEW is going to get into the problem where WWE was years ago, where they signed up all the indie talent. You cut to, the last year or two where they've released like 100 people or whatever. Do they get to that point, or does more talent coming out like your O'Reilly? We all know O'Reilly's going, but future releases, do they go New Japan, Impact? If Ring of Honor does make a comeback there, knowing that AEW has a partnership with those and they can kind of float in and out of AEW if they want as well. They very
well can be looking at something like that. I know that when I heard the podcast with the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson talking, the reason why they signed with Impact was because they had a relationship with AEW. So they knew they could be the top guys in Impact and still have a relationship with AEW. Now that's not happening. And from reports and rumors, they're not happy with that situation. So I don't know what's gonna happen in that sense. But one thing I do know is I think that the idea that people had before, which is, wow, look what AEW is doing, I want to go over there. People are starting to realize they have a packed house. And I'm going to be doing the same thing, if not less, if I go over there or fighting for TV time. I think that's why someone like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, re-signed contract speaks volume to what's happening, because there was so much moving, and for Sami and Kevin to be able to say, nah, we're staying. It kind of shows you these guys aren't dumb, man. It's too packed over there. And to fight for 2 hours, man. Look at how much talent they got. You're fighting for a total of 3 hours. 2 shows. That's that's tough, man.
And whether people stay or go, like I said, I mentioned other promotions because obviously we want the best for wrestling as a whole. We want all these companies to succeed, and I would love to be able to sit here and make full episodes covering Impact and whatever else, because I've said for a long time now that Impact has some great talent, man. It's all booking and storyline. Like, a lot of people don't see it, but man, Moose is doing incredible work right now. I love Moose right now, but I would love to be able to sit here and do full episodes on Impact and whatever else, but there's just not enough going on in that Impact to to make videos about. But whether people stay or go, like, I mean, we just want everybody to work out. Like I said, hopefully Ring of Honor can come back in some capacity. But yeah, AEW is getting flooded, but I hope either people stay and are able to work that out, or maybe go different routes and just build up wrestling as a whole.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, we all win as fans when these wrestling companies succeed. I hope Ring of Honor comes back. Impact, keep doing your thing. What Impact needs to do is they need to get on a network. And like a valuable network, in a sense, where get off that access. If they go to if they were to go to somewhere like a Paramount, which used to be Spike, if they could go back to that or something like that, would be better. The problem is that people can't find Impact. But if you can get Impact on Thursday, I suggest you go and watch it, because they are doing really good. They need to do better storylines, but they are doing good. Another one that's really good, and if you get a chance to watch it, guys, go out there and watch it, is NWA. NWA got some nice stars. They're doing some big things. So go out there and watch it. Jordan, that's all we had today, baby.
Yeah, man. If you want us to make videos on NWA or Impact or anything like that, let us know, because they're doing great work. They don't have a big audience like AEW and WWE is. But if you guys want us to make videos on that, definitely let us know. But yeah, it's been a good episode. Show off the merch real quick since you're wearing it. If you want to know any details about the merch, just comment down below. We'll shoot you a message. You can send you all the details. But thanks everybody for watching. Like I said, if you're listening on Spotify, we appreciate you. If you're on YouTube, consider subscribing, hitting the like button. Yeah, Too Sweet and JR, just take it out, man.
And we always kick out at 2.
Peace.